Okay, good evening once again. This particular meeting is currently on record officially, so I wanted to notify the few of us that are in the house today. I want to welcome my daddy, His Royal Highness, Daddy Joshua Makamatakar from Kaduna State, who is always consistent. And also, I can see Mohammed Ibrahim is in the house, and Johanna Danladi also is in the house. And so, while we are waiting for other people to come, I want to appreciate us for staying up to date and also following the entire surrounding the incredible world coin. Not too many people understand what is actually happening, but we have so many in this community who are not following simple instructions, and this is giving us a lot of tough time. We have people who don't even know how to create their emails, and so if you don't know how to create your email in order to sign up on the exchange, I don't understand how else we are going to help you in the process. And so we have done tutorials, and we have been able to do justice to a lot of the details when it comes to the issue of migration. And we still have a lot of people sending us messages. They have made payment, they could not submit their details. For the payment aspect, we have been able to get the required number of people that have paid for their migration, but we have not received the complete details of people that have paid. And so people continue to ask in this meeting, when is this migration going to happen? When is this migration going to take place? The migration taking place is not all about payment. We have close to 40 persons whom we are still waiting for their details. They have already paid for their migration. As for the payment, they have already done the payments. But the issue of sending their details or try migrating themselves and creating their wallet on the exchange is now another issue. And so I want to urge each and every one of us to pay attention to the entire updates that we have been given. And so this is giving me concern a lot. We are not going to do otherwise. And so we have sent query emails to those who are still yet to submit their details. Up till this moment, we have people who have just made payment, sent in their payment with no details. And so, how do you expect the migration to move on? And this is why I keep saying the same thing over and over and over again in this meeting. And so, we need to make progress, we need to move forward. And so the only way we can move forward is by you complying with the required information that are needed for you to submit so that we can make progress. And so once that is not done, we will continue, those people will continue to delay the process. They will continue to delay the process. And so we wouldn't want that to continue happening. And so I'm using this opportunity, even most of our leaders, you can hardly see some leaders come on board during the meeting because they are not taking whatever it is that is happening serious. And so we will continue to provide information and also give us updates concerning what is happening. By God's grace, whether you send your details to the admin or not, we have already done our part by sending emails and also notifications and providing you with the required detailed information that you need here on this platform. And so it is now left for you to take advantage of all those instructions that were given and do the needful. And so, please, if your mic is still unmuted, kindly mute your mic because I can hear some noise coming from a background. When it is time, we'll give you the opportunity to speak. And so, everyone should kindly mute your mic. When you are given an opportunity to speak, then you can unmute your mic. Thank you so much. As I was saying, let us all work in accordance with the instructions that are always given here. So many of us who have not been following, you should be able to go down our YouTube channel and be able to get all the remaining updates that are still there where you have, where you have fallen short, the informations that were passed across that you were not fully aware or you were not carried along, you can still go back on the YouTube channel to watch all of those meetings that happened previously so that you can be able to get yourself informed. And so we have been singing about this issue of the submission of this migration, but it looks like a lot of people are still yet not conversant or are not following with the guidelines and also the informations that were given since November of last year. And so I want us to clarify some issues tonight so that we can have this bulk migration done. I would have loved some of these leaders, if they join us eventually, I will give them the opportunity to speak because they are the one mostly that are wasting our time. They are the ones mostly that are dragging this entire process into a very slow movement. And last time I complained about some of these leaders coming out from Nigeria who have already made payment for their users but are holding on to those people's detailed information. They have not submitted the informations of those people for migration. And so once this bulk migration has taken place, you will have to wait for another threshold. So this is why we want everyone who has already made payment for the migration, let them be migrated as soon as possible so that we can take the next batch of migrations, the next people that will be making payment for their migration, because this bulk migration requires it has a cost of a certain amount or number of BNBs that each individual is going to pay. And so when it is done in bulk, it goes very swiftly and then it goes according to the required amount of BNB that were stipulated from the beginning. But if we were to do it individually, it will go beyond the 0.02 BNB. And so this is why we want everyone who has made payment on behalf of themselves or on behalf of any other person, let them be able to send their details so that we can be able to have this bulk migration issue settled in this first threshold. And so I want to welcome all of us who are coming in at the moment. Some people are coming in very late, but all the same, you are welcome. And so basically today I am going to be going straight into our respective regions to know what is actually unfolding. The migration has been a bit slowed. It has come to a halt, especially in the from the region of Nigeria. Perhaps maybe it's because of the current currency situation in Nigeria. Even in the Liberian region, migration has totally come to a halt, except for one region, which is Maryland in Nigeria. Okay, I am going to start with my leader from uh, Adamawa State, where we have migrants whom they have already paid. We have sponsors whom have already paid for those migrations, but we are still yet to receive the details of those migrants for the bulk migration. And so one of the humanitarians is here in the house from Yola, in person of Reverend Dean Herimas Otnell in the house. Yes, you can unmute your mic and greet the house, sir, and give us an update. And also, we have people from Bishop Japhet Tomwaso, whom were sponsored, about 15 to 20 or 25 persons, whom we are still yet to receive their migration details from the administrator. So you can unmute your mic and give us an update from your end, sir.
Hello, the global house of the incredible wealth.
Good
I
evening, sir.
bring you greetings this very evening in the name of Jesus Christ. Uh, all is well here in Adamawa State, except our brother said earlier, the issue of the cash, the cashless society has made things very difficult for us. It's a general problem, not just only in Adamawa State, but in the country as a whole. And furthermore, you will still have your money, but even transferring it has become a problem.
Mm.
So we're really in some difficulties. And
Yes,
we're just trusting God. We're just trusting God.
yes.
Thank you
Uh,
very much, Global House.
Thank you
Just
so
a
much,
little help.
sir. We have some migrations, some humanitarian sponsors, specifically from Bishop Japhet Tomwaso, who we have about 20 or even more than 20 people whom their migration has already been paid, but we are still yet to receive their details. Can you tell us a bit about those migrations that were paid for, and up till now we have not received their details?
Let me just allow Benjamin to answer that.
Okay, if Benjamin is in
I
the house, you can unmute your mic very quickly.
Okay, I will talk through daddy's phone. I called his administrator as you asked me to do the last meeting, and
Yes,
I told her. She said they are working on it.
they are working on the names.
Yes, yes, that was what she told me when I told her about the this thing you told me to tell her.
Okay. All right. Thank you
So,
so much. Because we
thank you, sir.
have over 20 persons from that end that have already made their payments, but we are still yet to receive the details for migration. And so, reason being is because we want to be able to get this entire bulk migration done at once because of the cost of migrating users. And so, the earlier those people are registered on the exchange and their details forwarded to the admin for migration, the better for us, so that we can begin to move forward. And so, thank you so much for that particular update from that region. I would quickly like to go back to Liberia, where we have our coordinators and also some of our members from Liberia. I want to go to central Liberia, where we have Dixon Kemu as one of the assistant coordinator for IWC. Dixon, you can unmute your mic and give us an update from your end. What is happening regards to the migration issue? Dixon Kemu, if you can hear me from Liberia, you can unmute your mic and give us an update very quickly. The reason for this meeting is for us to be able to get updates and also know whether or not we are making progress in this migration or not. And so, Dixon, if you can hear me, kindly touch your microphone on your phone so that you can unmute your mic in order for you to speak. All right. It looks like, okay, yes, Dixon, you are on.
Hello, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Can
What's
you hear me?
happening in your region concerning the migration details? The migration.
Uh, we have a lot of issues. Immigration is going slowly, slow and slow. But we have a lot of comments that some people they are thinking on the opposite directions about this whole project. Because when you are being opportune to do your subscription on the IWC platform. And now people are coming by again, telling them that they see a start to the migration process. So those are some of the things people are looking at a screen, and we are trying to talk with them, but at least they are not. We continue to sensitize them. So those are some of the problems we got in nearly the rural area where you go, the network building can be very hard. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are live.
Yes, so those are the problems we are facing in Bon Country, Liberia. So actually, the dealers of the global have to see this thing at least that we're able to fast track something. Once people have been, withdrawing, the messages go across, there will be a lot of huge number of people that will be migrating. So right there, why people put money and they are not receiving, then you telling them say to pay for gas fee, the rural part people are looking at it, it's difficult. So those are the problems that we are seeing in central Liberia.
All right. Thank you so much. I think you are the only person in the house except for Mr. Coley. Mr. Coley, do you have any comments from Liberia before we proceed to another region?
Yeah, thank you so much, and good evening to the Global House.
Yes, good evening to you.
Um, this is well. First, I just want to say thanks to you and the other members for the work being done so far. Except that I feel sorry for you because you are under tremendous stress owing to the complexity of the issues we have in our various regions and countries. A case in point is just one what you've just heard, as I've earlier cited. You see, the complexity of the issues that we faced with is just what one of the cases you just heard, as I said.
Yes,
People, the messages are not being interpreted clearly by our leaders to the grassroots on the ground. Now, these are some of the issues we are facing. The I speak specifically to Liberia issue. The people in a rural area, when you give them a certain message, it's one thing, and to translate that message into their own psychology is another thing.
yes,
So, our leaders on the ground have to do a lot of persuasion, teaching, and trying to make them to understand because they are baffled with the environment itself. The environment itself has its own issue owing to the lack of technology, poor education, lack of infrastructure. It's not that they are not willing to be a part of the system, but these are the physical challenges on the ground, as we just heard from Jason Cameron. So it behooves us to tune down, calm down the leaders on this side. Sometimes, as I said, take the local phone numbers, call these people one on one, and explain to them that your investments are not lost, but this is what you have to do X, Y, and Z, and sometimes even go to them in two or three, like the Director for Administration has done in the Southeast. Explain to them, teach them. It's not that they don't want to do it, but these are the challenges. And I'm sure it's in Nigeria, in Ivory Coast, in Sierra Leone, the same thing. Don't get angry with them. That's the system. This is West Africa. We are clocked in backwardness, and that's the truth. So we have a lot of work to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I go to another region, Dixon Kemo, I would like you to unmute your mic again. What kind of message are you people spreading across the rural communities concerning the migration? And so, what specifically are the leaders educating the other people in the rural communities or in the central part of Liberia concerning this migration? Dixon, you can unmute your mic if you can hear me. Maybe Dixon is having some network connectivity issues. I want to use this moment to call our attention to one specific thing that so many of us are just following the incredible world coin blindly without having a pure knowledge of what you are actually into. And so it is so clear today that we all have seen how the global economy around the world is shaking. We are beginning to see revolution taking place right before our eyes. And so there will come a time wherein the physical, local, or your national currency would no longer be valuable globally. And so that is why even the governments around the world today are moving into blockchain. And so that was why I initially tried to find out from Dixon what kind of message are you people spreading across the rural areas. Because I could remember last year we held a lot of meetings, and also we have held a lot of orientations for the leaders in Liberia concerning the issue of migration, and I try my best to be able to take the leaders through the entire information concerning blockchain technology. And so, even though I know that a lot of people around Africa, we are looking at the incredible world coin with a different perspective, but I can assure you that the entire global economy right now, even the world currency, the world reserve currency, which is US United States dollars, is shaking. And we can all see the crises that are going on, the global economical meltdown happening simultaneously. And so the earlier we begin to equip our people by informing and also educating them about the importance of what we are doing, the better for both the leaders and also the users. Why am I saying this? Is because we have a lot of people who do not understand the vision and mission of IWC. And so this is why we keep having so much problems. And so, just like what Mr. Colley reiterated, we need to do a lot of awareness. And we have done so much tutorials or training to the leaders. We have given them, equipped them with what they can go also and educate the people at the grassroots level. That was why I wanted to find out from Dixon what are they telling people in the rural areas concerning IWC. IWC is the future of global financial solution, and we are also solving a lot of global challenges not only in Africa but even beyond Africa. And so just before I just before we began the meeting, we were in a global executive meeting wherein we saw a lot of happenings. We saw how cryptocurrencies are gaining momentum today in the global market. We saw how so many local currencies are trending downward. And so this is a revolution that is taking place. And so for those of us who are already part of this mission, you are privileged to be part of this. And so what we need to do right now is to focus. We need to focus. We need to be very, very serious. We need to also take this mission as serious as ever, because this will go a long way to eliminate a lot of things beyond our expectation, especially when it has to do with finances. Yes, Mr. Coley, I can see you are raising up your hands.
Thank you, Mr. Incredible. Just concern.
Yes.
I've noticed over the last meeting, I haven't really seen any much or many representative from Sierra Leone. Any progress on that level on the ground there?
Yes, we are progressing from Sierra Leone, but the major issue that I think we have from Sierra Leone is that from the conversation I had with some of their leaders, they keep complaining that they don't know how to join the Google meeting. And so, and I have not seen anything difficult on how to join this Google meeting. Majority of us who join this Google meeting, you are only given an instruction to click the link. And so once you click the link, automatically it brings you into the meeting room. And so I do not see what is difficult to join the meeting. And so they were suggesting that we should be holding our meetings on WhatsApp. And it will not be possible to get everyone along on the WhatsApp app. And so this is the convenient place wherein we can have our meetings, wherein the meetings can be recorded, wherein people can be able to be given an opportunity to ask questions and also to also comment in our regular meetings like this. And so mostly the leaders from Sierra Leone are having difficulties with their smartphones. Basically, that is their challenge, according to them. And coupled with that, they complain about the internet issues in Sierra Leone, that they are having a serious connectivity challenge over there in Sierra Leone. That is why in most cases some regions is like they ration internet in Sierra Leone. Some regions have internet, whereas some regions do not have. And so that is as bad as it could be. You can only find that in Africa. In some part of Europe and other continents, they are far beyond us. They have progressed more than us. And so I think these are some of the challenges that the leadership in Sierra Leone is faced with, even the leadership from Ghana. Even though most of our leaders in the Ghana region are from Kumasi and some part of Accra in Ghana, but majority of them are having issues with the latest technology that we have. That is why you can see most of the people who attend this meeting comes from Nigeria, because in Nigeria people use more of smartphones than other regions, than other part of Africa. Because I am privileged to visit most of these countries, you could see some leaders using a button phone that cannot be able to access internet. And then we have majority also who have these smartphones, but how to operate the smartphones is also another issue for them. And so I really do not understand or do not know how we are going to cope with those people, but we are trying our best to see how we can carry everyone along in this mission. And so this mission is not a mission for us to look back. We need to be committed, we need to be dedicated, we also need to be focused in achieving and also attaining our goals. And also, above that, again, we have many people who are already aware about these meetings. We have majority of users from Liberia who are part of the chat room, but they some of them do not don't I may say whether they don't know how to comment or they don't know how to ask or even join our meetings, that I do not know. But we have a lot of users who are very silent in this particular mission. And so it is the duty of our leaders and also all of us as ambassadors for IWC to work together and also carry everyone along. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to, okay, the ambassador, I would like to go to Mr. Paul before I go back to maybe Sierra Leone or other region, perhaps before the end of the meeting. Yes, Mr. Paul from the Southeast. I can see you are joining us on a video call. Good evening, and thank you for joining us from that region. And so, what is the update regarding the migration process?
Good evening, sir, and good evening, all the members of the House.
You are breaking in, Mr. Paul.
Um, to God be the glory. We're trying our best to make sure that the migration is updated. Okay, so we're on it. Like this coming Sunday, we'll be want to get them together. Although we are migrating some people gradually, it's not so easy to convince them. But I always tell them that wherever your money is, you're supposed to think deep and know that it's not easy to invest. The problem with our people is that we are so quick. We're always interested in quick money, not thinking of tomorrow. I always tell them that it's sometimes it's very difficult for some of us to use 1 naira to save 100 naira. Instead, some would believe that instead of saving using 1 naira to save 100 naira, it's better to lose the entire 100 naira and start all over again, which is a stupid idea. Uh, but some of them are coming up. So that's where we are for now. So by
Okay,
Monday, we're
so
going to have a
were you
general
able to
meeting.
go through the entire list? Everything is fully in accordance and everything is settled now in the southeast. We have been able to settle all the issues in the southeast. Is everything going on smoothly now? All right. I think
Yes,
Mr. Paul.
the only problem I'm seeing there is some of the names, there's a little, there's some mistakes in some of the name, and there's some mistake in some of the name, but actually the whole thing is okay.
All right.
Despite the need in pronunciation or spellings, or maybe I call it typing error.
Yes, that
Every
list
other thing
was
is in
submitted by
place.
you, and so if there is any other error, typographic error on the list, I
Yes.
think
Mm.
you can do justice by correcting those typographic error during the migration. And so submit the right
Yeah.
names and also submit the right
Okay.
emails and also try as much as possible to get the spellings accurately and correctly during the migration period. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Paul. I appreciate
Thank you, sir.
your enthusiasm and also your hard work over there in the southeast. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Yes,
Welcome,
and
sir.
so
Thank you, sir.
let me hear very quickly from the ambassador before we can proceed or wrap it up for tonight. Then I can do a little recap for those of us who came in very late, so that we can wrap it up for today, this evening. Yes, Ambassador Zaki from Nigeria, tell us what is happening and also give us an update very briefly.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, my boss's boss. Yeah, I
Good
really
evening,
want to
sir.
thank God for this meeting, and I'm sorry for coming late. I have a flat battery. NEPA just brought light, so I plugged it. I said, "Let me join the meeting quickly." Yes, the only update I have is, I think, is the one that Mr. Paul was talking about, because within these 2 weeks, that's really what we've been working on. That's their list from the southeast, to see how at least we can get their list worked upon, and at the same time, and so I don't know. I don't know how we're going to do this. I have a lot of people just like this. My brother from Sierra Leone, the way he's talking, at least we have a lot of people that up to date. They claim they know, but they don't really know. Like Mr. Julius, always is yesterday makes tutorial on how to join Google Meeting. That will help, because God put you there. God has pushed us to this technology by fire by force, so that we can get this thing done. At least we saw do it. Even during the by the time the exchange will open, at least people will get to know some of these things. If not, the kind of wahala some of these people are giving me, as if they are going to be giving me their money. Then one other thing
Please
that
let me just laugh small.
I
I
don't know
beg you,
that
my
you
brother.
so I don't know. Maybe like we talked about, although we've talked with you already, we are supposed to at least have the first bulk migration done by now. But I know there are some issues from like people from Adama that paid money and they've not migrated their people. I think that's why we are still not there yet. But I hope at least this week that we are going to enter, we should have at least the first bulk of the migration. At least if we can do the first bulk of the 3,000 plus that we have now, at least that will really encourage other persons. By the time we come to a meeting like this, and people begin to talk about, okay, the IWC, at least they can see the work of IWC, they can see this, other people will be ginger to do it. I think I just want to suggest that at least God will help that this week that we enter, let's have the first bulk of the migration. At least that will help us in pushing the job more faster. Than up to now, we've not really gotten that. That's just what I want to say, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right. The bulk migration would have been done even before we came into the month of March. And so I keep telling us every day, we also have the same scenario, the same case from Liberia, where people have paid for their migration, but they have not even opened an account on the exchange. And so, how do we
That's
expect
serious.
migration to take place? And then you have people sending messages on the WhatsApp. When is this migration going to take place? When is this migration going to do this? The bulk migration, we have now gotten over 3,100 persons. But out of these 3,100 persons, we have people who have already made payment, or people who payment was made on their behalf, but they have not submitted their details for migration. It's just like someone buying a plane ticket. People bought a plane ticket, and so in the day of traveling, the plane is waiting for them at the airport. They are nowhere to be found. And so let us
Is well.
we the issue of the bulk migration, it will take place whether they submit their migration details or not. But as it is at the moment, emails were sent across all those who still have, apart from that particular issue of those who have made payment and has not yet submitted their details. We also have people who submitted wrong details and a query email was sent to them. And so, those of us who are in charge of the administrative aspect, helping other people to migrate, let us go back and verify the people we have migrated. check their emails to see if there is any query email from the admin, so that you can respond to that query by effecting whatever corrections or maybe errors that you may have submitted during the migration process, so that we can iron out all of these issues, because we don't want to have people coming back to say, I have paid my migration since December of 2022 or since January of 2023, up till now I have not been migrated. And so we want to be able to avoid that particular issue. That is why we are still appealing to all those who have made payment. It is not just making payment. We have over 15 persons from one other region in Grand Bassa from Liberia who sent in their payment since December. As I'm talking to you right now, they have not submitted the list of those 12 persons, but they have already paid their migration fees. And those migration fees were already used to purchase the BNB already kept. We also have the same issue coming out of Maryland. And so those other people who already sent their email, their payments, and also Sino County and Greenville, they have sent in money, but they have not sent the details of the people that made such payment. And these particular monies were already used to purchase BNB right now on standby, waiting for their details for them to be able to have themselves migrated into the exchange. And so these are some of the challenges that we are facing right now. And that is why I have to, even once a mail was sent to me concerning people from any region, I have to call directly to pass a message across that region. And so, if, for instance, we're having about 30 persons from Liberia or even more than that who have already made payment more than a month or two without submitting details, we also have people from here in Nigeria who some other persons came out and said, look, I want to sponsor your migration. And those people single handedly paid for their migration fees. But up till now, these same people are still yet to submit their details for the migration. And so these are some of the challenges that we are also faced with. And so according to the payment, serially, we already have up to 3,000. But the submission of the migration details are not up to 3,000. And so this is what is delaying the entire process. And so this is why it is very important for us to know, why is this process being delayed up to this moment. So that is the reason why we are facing this. But believe you me, uh, if anybody does not respond to queries, I think what we will do, I am going to give the grace of this week, the next week that we are entering. Whether query comes in or not, we are going to migrate those who are available. Those who have not submitted their details will have to wait for the next migration threshold. Yes, Mr. Coley, you are raising up your hands again. You can unmute your mic.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Just a kind of concern to be sure. You talked about the migration procedure, the wallet is not or are not being created. So that caught my attention. For example, the video you did on the migration procedure. I personally followed the video carefully using that procedure, and based on that, I was told that migration was successfully done, based on which I sent my migration fees through the coordinator, and
Yes.
then that was it. Is there any other step following that?
That is the step. So what you just did, we have many people who also paid money to the coordinators, but they didn't do that particular step that you took.
Oh,
And so
okay.
right
Thank you.
now, if you are migrated, you already have a wallet account on the exchange where you can receive your coins. But what about those who have not done anything? Some people are not, they do not, they
Okay.
have not yet even opened their emails, not to talk of creating an
Okay.
account on the exchange. And so, and they have already paid money for their migration.
Okay. Thank you.
So that is the challenge. And so I am using this opportunity, even though the director of administration is also trying as much as possible to reach out to those regions, all those who made payment in Nigeria here, do your best to ensure that you submit your migration details before the end of next week. Let everyone who has paid or made any payment, or if payment is made on your behalf, beginning from Monday to Thursday before our next meeting, ensure that you have submitted your migration details. And so once the other people who are going to be submitting their details are able to cover up those who are still pending, we will do the 3,000 bulk migration, and those people who are still having some issues, we will keep them aside until when they are ready to send in their migration details. And so if you have made payment or you are intending to do your migration, do that as fast as possible before the end of next week so that we can have the entire 3,000 completed without any issues. Those ones can be migrated. And so those who have been delaying us, they will have to wait for the next bulk migration. And so all those who are yet to do their migration and you are in this meeting, do me a favor and share this particular update so that we can have that migration done for everyone to see what we are talking about and also receive your coins in the exchange. And so that is what I have to tell us this evening so that we can stop delaying the process. The minimum threshold for migration is 3,000. The maximum threshold is 5,000 users. And so why it is 3,000 is because once that 3,000 people are already sent into the system for migration, it is the system that does the migration automatically using the APIs. So it's not going to be a manual migration. So once you are queued up among the 3,000, once the migration button is pressed, all of you will receive your coins at the same time at once. And so with that, it will ease the cost and also ensure that it is 0.02 BNB that will be charged from everyone respectively. And so do us a favor, if you have made payment and you still have your receipt and have not done your migration. If you don't know how to do migration, you can communicate to me and tell me your region so that I can connect you with the closest leader or the closest coordinator close to you in order for you to have yourself migrated so that we can have this bulk migration done as soon as possible. And so, Ben, if you are still in the house, I will still give you a message to go back to the administrator from Yola. I think we have about 20 to 25 persons that are still yet or to be migrated or to officially send their details. So let them send their details. And I think the ambassador, someone also sponsored about 20 persons. That was last week. We also have another humanitarian sponsor who has paid for migration for 20 persons. And so let those 20 persons be migrated as soon as possible so that we can have this migration done on time or maybe anytime next week so that we can all have the first migration threshold done. And so we would like to stop here because of time. I also strongly believe that we are facing some challenges, few challenges in Nigeria because currently I'm in Nigeria. And so I understand what the users, what our IWC users are going through in Nigeria. We just had concluded a presidential election. And so this has taught us a lot of lesson to know that Africa is still in darkness. And so for us to create a future for our next generation yet unborn, we have to begin the preparations early. And getting that preparations done earlier is by you giving your children and even your next generation a brighter future when it comes to IWC and also blockchain technology. And so I would like to appreciate us all for taking our time to come on board this evening. I don't know, do we have any question or any contribution from the audience before we wrap it up? And so if you have any question or suggestion, you can indicate by raising up your hands on the app, and you will be given an opportunity to speak if we have any question. And so if there is no any question, I want to appreciate all of us, especially those of us who are from Nigeria. We are so resilient. We have people considering the kind of hardship and so much poverty that is going on around Africa. We have a lot of people who are really strong, and so we in Africa are very strong, and let's keep the momentum going until we get to our destination. And so we will not give up. Let us continue to spread the message of good hope, and also let us try as much as possible to follow instructions. And so this week I will do a video and post it on our chat room on how you can join our Google meetings. Some of us have been joining Google Meeting without any tutorial, but for the sake of other people who don't know how to join Google Meetings, I am going to do a video tutorial on how you can join a Google Meeting on IWC platform. And so I want to thank you so much for taking your time to come on board. I have Mr. Chibo in the house. I also have Mr. Elisha, Mr. Zaki also in the house. I have Mr. Ufoma in the house. We have Daddy Joshua in the house. I also have Mr. Koli, Mohammed, and Mr. Paul. And we also have Mr. Shegun, Sophie, and who again? Okay, Mr. Danladi Yohana. Many people actually left because perhaps we have so much internet connectivity challenges, not only Liberia or Nigeria, but all across Africa. I pray that God will continue to see us through and also give us the strength to uh, get over these entire challenges that we are going through from the region of Nigeria, and also liberate us by giving us a successful launching trading of the incredible wealth coin, so that majority of us will begin to relocate or begin to build this country. We can isolate from these wicked governments in Africa and begin to build our own economy for our next generations yet unborn. And so this is the much we can take for tonight. Thank you so much. I will keep us updated. Inform other people to join our every Friday uh, Google migration meetings, so that even if after the first migration is done and the exchange is open, we will continue to have these meetings regularly in order for us to be carried along. Thank you so much. This is the much we can take. In the absence of any other comment or questions, I want to wish us all a good night. Thank you so much and have a good night.
Thank
Thank you so
you,
much.
sir. Good
Thank
night,